Hello everyone, I'm Nishant. Welcome back to The Big Picture. And today let's talk about green manufacturing. Is it cost or opportunity? But first, let me tell you what it is actually. Green manufacturing is the practice of designing and producing goods in ways that reduce environmental impact, conserve energy and resources, and minimize waste and pollution throughout the manufacturing process. It is also called sustainable manufacturing or eco-friendly manufacturing. Today, almost every country, company, and investor is talking about sustainability, climate change, renewable energy, and carbon emissions. But behind all these buzzwords lies a much bigger economic question. Can industries become greener without hurting growth? Because for decades, manufacturing and pollution almost went hand in hand. Factories created jobs and economic growth, but they also created pollution, carbon emissions, waste, water stress, and environmental damage. Now the world is trying to change that model. Governments are introducing stricter climate policies, consumers are becoming more environmentally conscious, global investors are increasingly funding sustainable businesses, and companies are under pressure to reduce emissions. This has created a huge shift towards green manufacturing. But here's the debate. Is green manufacturing simply an expensive obligation? Or is it actually one of the biggest economic opportunities of the next 20 years? That is exactly what we'll explore today. So if you enjoy deep, easy to understand business and economy stories like this, join this channel right away and support our work. Hello everyone and welcome to The Big Picture. So what exactly is green manufacturing? In simple terms, green manufacturing means producing goods in a more environmentally sustainable way. That can include using renewable energy, reducing emissions, recycling materials, improving energy efficiency, reducing industrial waste, using cleaner technologies. The goal is simple. Produce economic growth with lower environmental damage. For example, an electric vehicle factory powered by solar energy, a steel plant using green hydrogen, a textile company recycling water, or a packaging company replacing plastic with biodegradable material. All of these fall under green manufacturing. Now, if you ask me what is the biggest reason for the need for green manufacturing, then the biggest reason is climate change. According to the United Nations, global temperatures have already risen around 1.1 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Scientists warn that higher warming could trigger severe climate risks. Industries are major contributors to emissions. According to the International Energy Agency or the IEA, industry accounts for roughly 1/4 of global CO2 emissions. That means manufacturing cannot remain unchanged if countries want to achieve climate goals. This is why governments worldwide are pushing net zero targets, clean energy transitions, electric vehicles, green industrial policies. Even global trade is changing. The European Union's carbon border adjustment mechanism may impose carbon-related costs on imports from carbon-intensive industries. So companies that fail to become greener may eventually lose export competitiveness. Now, India is in a very interesting position. On one hand, India still needs rapid industrial growth. The country wants to become a manufacturing hub and export powerhouse, a global supply chain alternative to China. On the other hand, India is also highly vulnerable to climate change. Heat waves, water stress, floods, and extreme weather events are already increasing. So India faces a difficult balancing act. How do you industrialize while also staying sustainable? This is where green manufacturing becomes important. Instead of copying the old high pollution industrial model, India may try to build a cleaner industrial ecosystem from the beginning. Let's be honest, green manufacturing is not cheap. Companies often need to invest heavily in cleaner machinery, renewable energy, energy efficient systems, waste treatment, carbon reduction technologies. For example, green hydrogen is still expensive. EV battery supply chains require massive investment. Sustainable packaging costs more than conventional plastic in many cases. And this creates a fear among businesses that will sustainability reduce profitability? In the short terms, sometimes yes. Many green technologies initially increase production costs, and that becomes difficult in highly competitive industries. But this is also where things get interesting. Although green manufacturing may be expensive initially, over time it can actually reduce costs. For example, solar power prices have fallen dramatically over the past decade. Energy efficient factories save electricity. Recycling reduces raw material dependence. Lower emissions reduce regulatory risks. Renewable energy is becoming cheaper globally. According to the International Renewable Energy Agency or IRENA, solar PV costs have fallen by nearly 90% since 2010. Now that changes the economics completely. Today, in many cases, clean energy is becoming cheaper than fossil fuels. This is one reason why companies worldwide are aggressively investing in renewables. Earlier, sustainability was mostly seen as branding. Today, it is becoming a business necessity. Global investors increasingly prefer ESG-friendly businesses. Large international buyers now examine carbon footprint, sourcing practices, environmental standards, supply chain sustainability. This means green companies may attract more capital, better partnerships, export opportunities, and long-term investor confidence. In the future, dirty manufacturing could actually become economically disadvantageous. India may actually benefit enormously from the global green transition. Why? Because the world needs solar panels, batteries, EVs, green steel, renewable infrastructure, energy storage systems, and India wants to become a manufacturing hub in many of these sectors. The government has launched PLI schemes, renewable energy missions, semiconductor incentives, EV policies, green hydrogen initiatives. India aims for 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel electricity capacity by 2030. This could create massive industrial opportunities. One of the most ambitious areas is green hydrogen. Green hydrogen is produced using renewable electricity instead of fossil fuels. It could potentially transform steel, fertilizers, shipping, and heavy industry. India launched the National Green Hydrogen Mission to become a major global producer. Now, according to the government estimates, the mission could attract billions of dollars in investment. And if India succeeds here, it could become a major exporter in future clean energy supply chains. So which industries could benefit the most? First, electric vehicles. India's EV market is rapidly growing. EV manufacturing creates opportunities in batteries, charging infrastructure, auto components, electronics, and software systems. Second, renewable energy. Solar and wind energy manufacturing could become huge sectors. India wants to reduce dependency on imported solar equipments and increase domestic production. Third, green steel. Steel is one of the most carbon-intensive industries. If India develops cleaner steel technologies, it could gain long-term export advantages. Fourth, battery manufacturing. The future economy may depend heavily on energy storage. Battery manufacturing could become one of the most strategic industries globally. Now let's talk about the important Indian companies that could benefit from this. Though we are going to talk about some stocks now, please don't consider them as a recommendation to buy or sell. The first is Tata Power. This is a major player in renewable energy and EV charging infrastructure. Adani Green Energy is also one of India's largest renewable energy companies. Reliance Industries. This company is investing heavily in green hydrogen, solar manufacturing, and new energy ecosystems. JSW Steel could benefit from cleaner steel manufacturing and green industrial technologies. Tata Motors is also one of India's leading EV manufacturers. Exide Industries is working on battery manufacturing and energy storage, and this could become massive long-term theme. Vari Energies is a major solar panel manufacturing player in India. Now let's talk about the risks, because the risks are real too. Of course, not every energy investment will succeed. There are serious risks like policy uncertainty, technology changes, global competition, high capital costs, raw material dependency. For example, battery supply chains depend heavily on minerals like lithium and cobalt. And countries worldwide are competing aggressively in green industries. So India cannot rely only on policy announcements. Execution will matter. Infrastructure will matter, innovation will matter. Perhaps the most important thing that is changing is mindset. Earlier, sustainability was treated as charity, branding, or corporate social responsibility. Today, it is becoming industrial strategy. Countries now see green manufacturing as energy security, economic competitiveness, export opportunity, technological leadership. This changes everything. So coming back to our initial question, is green manufacturing a cost or an opportunity? The answer may actually be both. In the short term, costs are high, investments are risky, transitions are difficult. But in the long term, green manufacturing could become one of the biggest economic transformations of the century. The countries that dominate clean energy, batteries, green steel, EVs, renewable infrastructure may shape the future global economy. And India has the rare opportunity to industrialize and decarbonize at the same time. That won't be easy. But if India gets it right, green manufacturing may not just be an environmental story. It could become a job story, an export story, an energy story, and one of India's biggest economic opportunities.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.